There we go. All right, so today I am going to be finishing up painting this little guy. I went ahead and did a rough dark base coat because that always takes quite some time to dry. So we've done the base coat for that. But I'm going to go ahead and start the base coat for the little apron, which is a blue color. So we're going to start that here. I'll grab some paintbrushes. But yeah, we're going to be finishing up Tom Nook. I don't anticipate him taking too long. Mostly it's going to be the pattern on the apron and the pattern on his face, getting that correct. But aside from that, I don't anticipate it being a terribly long video, because he's not too complicated when it comes to color. Yeah, I was listening to old music from the early games and felt very nostalgic because it's been so long since I've played Animal Crossing, the original. I don't know if it was the original, but one of the earlier GameCube ones that I had. I don't actually know what the first game was. I may have to look. But yeah, I've only really played that one, and I think we had the DS one maybe. I didn't play it a ton, but then I had the Switch one. I didn't have all of them though. I think they had a ton of updates on the Switch thing, or a bunch of extra, like the Island Edition and stuff. I never played that. I just remember the pigeon. I think he was in it. I don't know if he was in the other ones, but he was new to me. Alright, we gotta flip him upside down very carefully here and try to get the blue paint on the apron with not getting it on him. There we go. I'm trying to think. I don't think the newer games have Red either, the black market salesman guy. Because I kind of had like a love-hate feeling toward him because he was useful for getting stuff, but he was such a liar that it was dangerous to get stuff from him. But I don't know if the newer games did the black market system. I don't recall them. I can't remember. I can't remember if Red is in the Switch one or not. I don't think so. But it's been a while. I haven't played him for a while. Alright. And we'll have to do the base coat of the leaf real quick too. And then we'll start the ears and lightening up the body color. Because this dark brown should really only be around the eyes. But I always start with the dark colors first and then progress to the lighter. I'm really disappointed lately because my the shorts videos I've been posting, they were doing really well for a bit, and I kind of found a technique for when I could post and when I had to delete and repost, but the last couple ones I did didn't work so well, and I'm not sure if it's the content or if it's the posting time, because sometimes it's like if I delete and repost, suddenly it blows up, and I don't, and by blows up I mean gets a couple thousand views, because I never get more than that, but considerably more than I'm used to. So yeah, I still haven't figured it out. I found just some ways that worked, but yeah, what I was doing that was working doesn't seem to be working anymore. So we'll see. We'll see. Algorithms are the bane of my existence because nobody understands them. Everybody has advice, but nobody understands them. And then I feel bad because sometimes people will comment on the videos and then I'm like, well, I need to delete and repost, but I got almost no views. But I also don't want to lose the people's comment, you know. very carefully paint the band that goes around his waist. I think I may be doing some more stuff too, outside of what I've been doing, so not just the fan art stuff, because I've been going through classic books and things again, and there's a ton of books that I could do artwork for that I would love to do. I just finished my first, well, not read through, I was listening to an audiobook, but I listened to all of The Last Unicorn. I just finished it like an hour ago, and I really want to try my hand at sculpting the unicorn in the book. And there's other books that I love, like The Phantom Tollbooth and The Little Prince, Watership Down, Redwall books. All of them would be really good subjects for sculptures. So I may do some book fan art too in the future. We shall see. I'm also really toying with the idea of having a sub-channel where I read stuff, both my own writing and public domain writing. Just because I think, what was it? I don't know how many times it's been now, but just out of the blue, somebody else told me I had a really nice voice again, and they liked listening to me, and I'm like, maybe I should try doing that, because I love being read to. I don't care for my own voice, but that's because I have to hear it a million times while I edit videos. And I do think I fixed the mic. I noticed, I didn't notice it when it was happening, but when I was going over my last live video, I realized it was clipping out every time I got soft-spoken, which I do quite often. So hopefully it's better this time. I was toying with it and it seemed to be better, so I have to be careful because I get soft-spoken, and then if I have my settings too high to knock out background noise, it knocks out my whole voice. Part of that's my fault. I should just talk louder, but I don't want to. I like talking at this level. Alright, so we're gonna paint the... Whoops, I'm losing my paintbrushes here. We are going to go ahead and paint the green on the leaf that is in his hand. And then we'll start the ears. I am also going to see if I can get a new mat, because I've noticed that this is really close to the color of the clay. And I'm considering trying to get a different color, or maybe mixed colors, or something that'll make the sculptures stand out a bit more as I paint them. Because when I sculpt, of course, it's this beigey color, sort of a kind of similar to my skin tone, but a little lighter. Beige pink color. And that tends to blend pretty well with this. It's not terrible, but I've noticed it lately. I'm like, I think visually it would look better if I had a different color mat underneath. So I may be changing that, but I have to research and spend money, and I don't have a ton of that at the moment. I did order a new microphone I found for cheap, so hopefully that'll help a bit more. The Blue Yeti was way better than what I had prior. But I was researching a bit, and I think I found one that will be even better, and I got it really discounted, used on eBay. So, we shall see. And it's like a hybrid mic, so it can be XLR or it can be USB, so I can swap to a better setup later if I need to. But that way, if I want to focus more on my reading of things, I can have the technology that'll make that a little more pleasant than my current audio setup. And then I really do have to sit down and actually study and research how audio setups work a little better than what I have at the moment. Because I still don't fully understand everything, and that is part of what is holding me back. I've gotten better at it, but I know a lot of times I mess with audio settings and I'm like, oh, that sounds good. And then I make the mistake of messing with it again, and it's like, dang it, now it sounds worse. Let's get the pink in his ears. very carefully. We'll have to do a couple layers of the pink because it's a very light color and it's almost transparent. That's fine. There we go. A little bit more. The top. Okay. Now let's start on the fur while that is drying a little bit. I don't quite have the color that he is. I might actually. Let me, because it's like a cross between these two colors. It's like a slightly orangey brown. And I was looking, I don't have one like that up here with me, I don't think. This is similar too, but it's not quite this either. Yeah, no, I don't have the color that this exactly is. But we're gonna do, I think, a mix. So we'll dry brush this across, and then we'll probably go back with maybe a little bit of the orangey tone, and I think that'll be sufficient. I think we'll get the color that we need from that. And here you can see when we start dry brushing, you can see all the texture of the fur that we did. And it looks like the tip of his nose is dark. It's very dark. And then around his eyes, but his eyelids are light colored. So we're just going to very lightly dry brush. Oh, and the tips of his paws are also dark. Just to about there. We'll do and we have a bit of a curve over his nose. Like so. Like that. There we go. And the ears, let's see. This should be up here. So we'll do the eyelids brighter. Then we'll do like this. So we're already starting to shape a little bit of the color that we need for him. I'm also still considering doing like tutorial type things. The issue is I don't know what to sculpt. I feel like Mothman and trying to come up with a very simplistic little Mothman and doing it as a tutorial might be fun. Because I know, you know, I'm a West Virginian and Mothman is popular across the world. So I am tempted to start with maybe Mothman, but I would also have to come up with the easiest way to make it, so I'd have to make it a few times for practice myself, and you know, something that's accessible for most people, and then do like materials, what you need, that kind of thing. But I'm not sure what people would be interested in learning how to sculpt, but it, you know, it might be fun. But I feel like the wings on Mothman might be too hard, so I might pick something a little simpler. Or a dragon. I had a very simplistic dragon design that I enjoyed doing years ago. So I might resurrect that little design, and that would probably be something universal that I think most people would like. Let's see. Okay, his tummy is very bright, so we'll have to get a brighter yellow for the belly. I'd forgotten about that because in the more recent games he wears a shirt. And then the tip of the tail has that dark color as well. So we will lighten it up to this point. This is just the first layer of light colored paint. So we will be doing a lot more. Same thing goes with the feet. Tips are very dark, and the rest is pretty light. There we go. I also ran out of I ran out of plastic wrap. This is what I usually put over this, but this is like a plastic piece off of something that I unwrapped. I forget what it was. It was something I'd ordered that was wrapped in plastic. It works, but I feel bad because it's so noisy. I'm trying to not put the figurine down to avoid making excess noise. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and do another layer of pink on the ears because it looks like those have dried, so we can get our second layer in. All right. The hardest thing is probably just going to be painting the leaf and painting the leaf design on the apron. Everything else is pretty simple. It'll just take patience to layer the colors. Something art will teach you is patience. I get really impatient, and I think a lot of my sculptures would be better if I worked on them a tad longer than I do. Okay, that looks good. You see his ears are nice and bright pink now. All right. We are going to go back over this with the light color again. Like so. Trying to see what that yellow is. The yellow is a very bright yellow, almost white color. Almost like this, but a little bit more orange. So in between these two. So I think I'm gonna take the orange first, and we'll do his belly a little bit. Like so. And I think we should do a little bit of this orange tone all over to try to help bring the proper brown tone that we're supposed to have on this. I will probably touch up the dark as well around the face because it's a little uneven. But for now, we'll just continue doing this. And then we gotta lighten up the stomach considerably more since he does have the bright yellow belly. Okay. There we go. Yeah, and in this case, I'm going to keep using the same paintbrush too, because it kind of blends the colors for me since these aren't quite the right tone that I want. It kind of mixes them automatically, so you don't really have to think about it. Makes it easier. Okay. Okay, so now we need even a lighter yellow as we continue trying to get the belly the right color. And we may have to touch up the blue a little bit on the apron, but that's okay. It's not hard to do. And we might have to go from the yellow to a white to get the lightest color that we need. I'll just do this very lightly on some other spots, but not too much. We want to do it heaviest on the center here because we need to lighten this up a lot more. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to stop that for a little bit and we're going to see if we can darken the brown a little tiny bit on the spots that's supposed to be darker. That is not what I meant to do. So this is a little different than the brown that I used earlier. But that's fine. Okay. We're getting there. That the brown color I have, it's annoying me because it's not quite the right shade. So we'll have to take some time to really get it the correct color for Tom Nook. Because he's very orangey. All of his coloration is very orangey. Okay. You can see we're getting a little bit of that color. Not quite. He's too yellowy at the moment. use this brown to color the tips of the paws and the tail. And I'm tempted, I may run downstairs and see if I have a brown that's closer to what I'm trying to achieve here, else I'm going to have to mix some of the paints, which is fine, I can do that, but I'm not the best at mixing paints to get the color I want. Something I should probably practice and learn, but I just never have. So, alright. Let me see. Maybe this color will look better. I think it is closer. So let's try. Yeah, this is a little closer, so let's try this color. Yeah, this is brighter. I think this is going to be more the color that we need for Mr. Tom Nook. Okay. Yeah, that's looking more accurate. Much more accurate. There we go. Now, I made the mistake of, before I started this video, I started some bread and I thought it would take like the full video time frame to rise, but when I checked it right before I started doing this, the one loaf is already, or the one ball of dough is already risen quite a bit. So I may go downstairs to a mess, but we shall see. I may have let the bread overproof by mistake. Let's bring the forehead line down a little bit. I think it's a little too high. I think it should be here. There. There we go. We're getting closer to the right color there. I may have to do multiple layers of this and then redo the mask. The little tanuki mask or raccoon dog coloration a little bit. Kind of blend this into the yellow bit on his belly. Because, yeah, the contrast between, like, the tips of his paws and his arms is quite drastic. So, I need to lay the paint on a little heavier than I am if I want to actually make it look accurate. I think my least favorite thing was when you had to, I think I talked about this last video, but the fact that you had to pay for everything pretty much. I think some of the villagers would help sometimes, but it was very little. It's like, why do I have to pay for the upgrades for everything in the island? Why does that fall to me? I understood like the museum, you donate to the museum and some of the later games and things, but like, why am I paying for all the other upgrades? I always felt like Tom Nook was like using us to upgrade his his island. There's some very fun, silly fan theories about that too. I ran across some I'd never seen before. They're a little demented, but and not remotely accurate to the story. But people were talking about like why we're the only human in the entire village, why we have all these pointless little tasks and rewards that we're given. Um, but yeah. It's one of those things where I don't think the game was meant to be that deep. I think they're just like, oh, it'd be cute if you were in a little town with some animals. I find a lot of video game theories are like that. Most depends unless it's a story heavy game. It's like the game wasn't that deep. They were just, doing a cute little setting. And then we're all theorizing about why is it like this? And it's like because some random person thought that would be cute. There really wasn't much thought behind it. But I love theorizing, even if it doesn't make sense. My favorite game series, Legend of Zelda, has a lot of that. A lot of, I don't think they thought this part through. They just did it because it was cool. And now we're trying to retroactively make a timeline. And it doesn't work real well. I think they redid it several times. So there's like different official timelines. But because I think it's got, the official one has the split, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does. I know they changed it. I did love that the more recent games went really heavy on the lore. That made me happy. Even though I know Zelda game lore is a bit conflicting and inconsistent. But yeah, Animal Crossing doesn't really have lore. It's just cute animal game. I mean, there are characters like I love the pelican guy who would always crash on the island at certain times. And then he would give you stuff. What was his name? I can't remember the pelican's name. I think they brought him back for a couple of the games. Don't remember. But I loved the pelican. Here we go. Did a little too much. If I do too much paint, I'll get paint in all the little crevices of the fur pattern, and then it kind of ruins the fur pattern. So that's why I lightly dry brush different colors. Okay. Now we gotta find some more. Well, we need to dry brush some more light color on the belly. It needs to be right about here. Go. We'll do another layer in a little bit once that dries. You can kind of see we're getting the pattern and we're getting the color correct slowly. All right. Now I think, let me pull up the leaf, the Animal Crossing leaf. Let's see, where is it? Animal Crossing leaf. Okay, so it's kind of dark in the center, but lighter on the edges. Okay, we can do that. Go ahead and all of it's lighter up here, like so. There we go. Darken just a little bit. Okay, so that's some detail, but we still have more to do, obviously. It's just a little bit, the beginning of it. Perfect. Okay. I'll leave that aside. I don't need to wash that yet. Let's see, can we do more yellow? Center here. All right, so now we're gonna take our, I had a really dark brown somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, we're gonna take the dark brown and we're gonna start going over the darker parts and making them even darker. Okay. There we go. You can see more of the face there. There we go. Okay. We are making progress. All right. Okay. I'm gonna do a little more highlight on the leaf and on the underside of it, like so. All right, and then we're gonna see if we can darken this a little more at the top. Okay. Now I think it's about time we did some highlights on the apron, and then we will go back to trying to get his fur the correct color. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna do his belly really quick with a little more yellow, because this is almost where we need it, but I'll give it a little more time to dry. All right, put this aside. Okay. So we need to touch up a little bit around the edges, and then we need to highlight, which I'm going to use this blue for the highlight. Okay, so now we're gonna, oh, I did not mean to get that much paint. That was too much paint. Kind of lightly go over it like this, so that it highlights all the texture. Just a little bit. And if there's spots that stick out, like right here, I go over those with an even lighter color and more aggressively than I do normally, because that tends to look a little better. Okay, so we got some more detail and texture on the apron there. Let me pull up, what color is the leaf pattern on his apron? It is a light color. Okay, it's a very light color. Okay, so now we're going to go even lighter to highlight. Just like so. Lightly dry brush over this. Like that. And then sometimes you can come back, and I often do this, I'll come back and darken the indented spots a little bit. Just to make the shading and painting look a little nicer. So. Okay. Alright, so we have even more coloration on his apron. Okay, there it is. There it is. There it is. Do I have a dark blue? Not that color. I need to refill my dark blue. Oops, I got paint all over my hands. Dang it. Okay. So now I'm gonna get a smaller brush. I'm gonna do the little groove spots with the, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit the microphone there. Hopefully that didn't pick up. I do the little groove indented spots here. A little darker. I go over those again. Just so they show up a little better. I need to be careful. My hands are covered in blue. Okay. All right, now I gotta look at, this will probably be the perfect blue color for what we're doing. I'll put some of these colors away so they're not in the way. I can rest my arm. All right, so we're gonna use this light blue to paint the leaf. Okay. And let me see here. So the stem needs to be right about here. Need to come around like this. And then it's like down straight. And then it's a little bit rounded like this. And then up here. You need to do this a little more rounded so that it's a little more heart-shaped. And we don't have it quite right, but I will fix it. We'll get out the darker blue again and then fix what I have messed up. Because the shape is not quite there. Almost not quite. Dang it. I have blue all over this thing. Blue exploded. Now my fingers are all blue. Okay. I don't think my hands are wet. Okay. So now we're gonna touch up what I have done and pretend that I totally painted it right the first time. Actually, I should probably let it dry before I try to touch it up. I say as I continue not doing that. Okay. I will touch it up after it dries. I will be patient. I will be patient. I'm very not patient. I actually am decently patient. I really like a lot of the art stuff that I like to do, and tasks I like to do are very boring, repetitive sometimes. But then other times I have no patience whatsoever. It's like certain things I can do for ages and other things I just cannot. It's like if I get really focused on something I can, but other times absolutely not. Okay. Now we are going to do another lighter coat on the, and we're not going to use this big brush. We're going to use the little brush. I think the big brush is a little too broad, and I may accidentally mess up our apron that we just touched up. So we might have to progress to the white at this point to get this light part of the belly correct. Let me see. I don't have my white. Aha, I do have white. Had it somewhere. All right. Okay, mix a little bit of the white and yellow. There we go. I think that's about the right color for his belly. I still feel like the regular tone here needs to be, that's too light. It needs to be lightened up a little bit, but I think what I might have to do, we may have to actually mix some colors here. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to mix it with our white. And this is why I like having the plastic. Because then when I'm done, I just wrap this all up and I don't have to deal with it. Okay. We are going to mix this up until we get, let's take a little yellow in here too. The sound effects are important. I don't know why. And now that this paintbrush has too much paint on it and I don't want to use it, we're going to grab another paintbrush. Give me a paintbrush. Okay. And we are going to... And I think that is still a bit too light. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna get rid of that. Just lightly go over everything, but especially the edges. And especially on the face, like so. We did get a little blue up here. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. But as you can see, my hands are blue. I should really keep like wipes or something up here for when that happens, because it happens so much. I don't think it's happened too much on video, but it's happened a lot when I'm on my own painting stuff or recording. That I'll end up with paint all over my hands because one of the paint things decided to explode when I opened it. Outline this. There we go. We're getting more of the contrast there that we need. Paint Tom Nook. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Then we're going to lighten up the rest of this a little bit. Okay. We are almost there. We'll be finished with Mr. Tom Nook very soon. He's looking pretty good from the front. We will have to touch up the leaf since I kind of screwed that up, but otherwise he's pretty good from the front. Okay. I apologize. I feel like making random noises and I'm trying so hard not to while I'm doing this. Touch up all the blue spots from when I got blue paint all over my hands. Okay. Just oh no, don't fall. Okay, he's okay. Cool. All right. Oh, we got his tail in the blue. At least it's the underside and not the main part, but we will have to touch that up too. Because I should really, I mean, they make palettes for a reason. I even have a little plastic palette for stuff like this to mix paints, but I just like to put them all over in front of me. I don't know why. It's very messy and inefficient, but it's just what I do. I don't advise it. I advise using something like this, because that's what it's literally for. I should have used that, because then we won't have issues like this where we got blue on the bottom of his tail. Anyway. This is kind of like the wire armature thing that I'm constantly not doing with figurines that probably need it. I've gotten a lot better because I've had so many fall over in the oven, and it's like, that sucks. I don't have to redo this whole sculpture, or it's partially ruined now, and you know. But for some reason I have certain habits that I have a really tough time breaking, and this is one of them. Okay. And then we are gonna get the blue off his tail. Okay. The final thing is we need to open our blue again without getting paint all over ourselves. Oh, we got blue on the ear again. Dang it. We're going to touch that up real quick on the ear. Okay. And then we are going to take a fine brush and see if we can fix this little emblem on his apron. Okay. I'm gonna hold him to keep him out of all the excess paint that is in front of me that I put there like an idiot. Okay. So let me look at the apron again, because I feel like it's almost right, but not quite. It's a little more rounded, actually. It's a little more like that. And then I think this is more like that. Okay. Does that look right to me? I think that looks good. Okay. Just look him over real quick. But I think we're done with Mr. Tom Nook, although I do need to clean the paint off of his eyes. We'll do that here really quick. Almost. All right, we got the eyes cleaned up, but there we are. We have Mr. Tom Nook in the older design. Got his apron here, his face. But there we are. If you watched all this video, I greatly appreciate it. If you skip through to the end, like I do on most of my videos like this, I still appreciate that. Thank you for watching, and Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see me sculpt. Let me know if there is maybe something simple you would like to learn how to sculpt. I may do some tutorial type stuff. I'm trying to gauge what people might be interested in. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely night or morning, whatever time it is for you.